Hi everyone, I've got another really difficult checkmate in two problem here. So for this one it is white to move and checkmate in two moves. So just to remind you as well, white is going up the board and black is going down the board. So just remember that, as that will affect which way the pawns are going. Okay, so see if you can solve it. White to move, checkmate in two. Okay, so this one, with all my solutions, I will put in a timestamp where the solution is going to be. So if you want to skip straight ahead, straight to the solution, by all means do so. I do like to talk a little bit about the puzzle, the composer, a little bit about that, and then I go through some of the problems with this puzzle and some of the failed solutions that you may have come up with. Okay, so with this one, this was composed by a player under the name of V.L. Eaton. So just to give you a little bit about this player, so Vincent Lanius Eaton, he was a child prodigy, and he in fact graduated from Harvard at the age of 18, so a very intelligent man. From 1939 to 41, he was the problem editor of Chess Review, and he also edited the Mate the Subtle Way problem column in Chess Life. So that was in the early 1950s. He in fact published more than 1,000 problems, mostly direct mates in three. So this is unusual. It's a direct mate in two instead of mate in three. He was also an international judge, so a very accomplished person and player. But this one, a very, very nice composition. So I think one of the main challenges with this particular problem is white. The first thing you probably noticed is this weird double checking idea, and it looks really tempting and it looks really nice. The problem with it is I just can't seem to get it to work. You can't really get it to work. If you try and put your knight to c3, let's say, when I first looked at this I was going, oh yeah, that's checkmate in one, obviously forgetting that this pawn is going up the board, so it's not actually mate at all. After this check, black can just go to c1, and there really isn't any way that we can deliver a useful check here. There is an interesting checkmate in 3 idea, which is still pretty good, which goes bishop takes on c5, and after whatever black does here, if let's say he moves his bishop to a2, we can deliver checkmate very nicely on there. Another interesting solution, oh no, actually the king can't go there, so we can't do that. So yeah, that would be the only move that black can do here, as he would be in Zugzwang. So that's quite fun, but unfortunately it is only checkmate in 3, so we need to find checkmate in 2. So we need to find something a little bit more forcing. And I guess one of the difficulties with this one is we want to try and find a way of getting rid of this pawn. If we can get rid of this pawn, it would be just a simple mate in 1, right? Because this rook will come down, the knight defends all these key squares around the king, and it will be a very, very easy checkmating solution. And again, another issue with this one is also this pawn as well. It's going to promote the next move, and there are some very tricky little promotions that black can also play here to stop the mate in 2. So with that in mind, the solution here is very, very interesting. It is the move d4. And it's really important why it's d4. I'll show you one failed solution after I show you this one that looks similar to it, but it isn't at all. So the move d4 is very important, as it kind of forces black into a very difficult situation. If, let's say, firstly, let's say he tries to move his king. This is the only legal move here. We have a very simple checkmate in 2 here now, with d takes on c5. This is checkmate now from the rook. Notice again, this knight covering these really key squares, this bishop covering these 2 squares, obviously bishop defending the knight, and the rook attacking straight down this corridor. So that is a very nice checkmate. And if black does anything else, if he tries to do other waiting moves or other sort of moves that don't really do anything, let's say he takes this rook here, for example, again we would deliver mate very simply with d takes on c5. And there's not really anything else that black can do here. If he takes this pawn, this will also lead to mate. So rook takes here on d4, very straightforward. For any Anarchy Chess Reddit fans, the en passant, it doesn't work. So rook takes here. This also is checkmate. And another move that black could do to maybe try and prolong the mate, maybe something like c3, to stop stop any exchanges. Again, here we can take, and that is also checkmate. Now there is one more piece that we haven't discussed yet, and that's this pawn here. This pawn here does create some little problems for black. If we promote to this knight, we've got to be very careful here or how we deliver the mate. If we just take here on c5, well, black gets out of danger. You can jump with the knight to block the check, and this is no longer checkmate in n2. So to get out of this, we can now take, instead of this, instead of capturing there, sorry, we take here, we go to knight to c3. This is checkmate this way, so we've got to do it that way. But the last one is quite interesting. If he promotes to a queen or even to a bishop, this is actually a bit problematic for us because this comes with a check. So the king is under fire here, and this is probably why you might have been wondering, is this king really all that important here on g5? Well, actually it is part of this solution as well, so we've got to take this into account. So with this one, is a very nice solution to this one, knight to f4 checkmate. We're blocking the check, but remember we're coming with this discovered check with this bishop, and this rook and these bishops are all attacking. Because this pawn is also moved off c2, it's opened up this rook along this second rank. So a really nice solution to this one. I will just show you one more failed solution. You might have been asking yourself, what about the move d3? Is d3 a winning solution here? Because it looks like white is doing exactly the same thing here. The difficulty with this one, and why d4 has to be played and not c3 and d3, sorry, is now black has got the option c3 here, and it's really important because now we haven't got this capture here to then be able to deliver our checkmating idea. So that's why d4 has to be played. It forces black to respond. Black can't just move this pawn forward to c4, preventing the capture. He's got a colleague in front of him who's blocking the line and not allowing that to happen. So that is why d4 has to be played and not d3. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope if you did really like this one, please make sure you leave a like at the end of this video. If you haven't already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel. It costs absolutely nothing to do so. And as you can see from this chart, a lot of you aren't subscribed, so please make sure you do. It does help support the channel. Anytime I do upload a video, you will get a notification to tell you about any more really interesting checkmate in 2 puzzles or other videos that I publish on my channel. So do check them out. Otherwise, share this with friends if you did really enjoy it. But I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye-bye.